Thank you, Jackson. Kia ora tātou, vanakkam, aiboan, and wonderful to be able to join you tonight. And Jax was right, they let us out for an hour every day when we're in Parliament, and so there's nowhere else I'd rather be than here with you. But it is a special evening in Parliament tonight. We've literally, within the last 15 minutes, just passed a bill that's all about workers' rights. It's a fair pay agreement. It is a really historic day for our party, but it's also a really historic day for all our hard-working Kiwis who are out there. So please do go back and watch that debate. I also just wanted to acknowledge my brother in the house, Ibrahim Omar, who I'm sure many of you know very well and who wanted to be here tonight, but unfortunately he's not feeling well. But he and I have been very much engaged in asylum seeker and refugee advocacy in the House. For me, whenever I walk into a room like this, I sort of feel the wairoa of the place, because I think you're coming to speak to people who very much share your values. But I also suspect that it's a room full of many stories. So perhaps I'll share with you mine and then talk about some of the issues we've been advocating on. We came to Aotearoa from Sri Lanka via Zambia in 1987. And when I was 12 years old, my mother told me a story which profoundly changed the direction of my life. She told me about Richard de Soisa, who was a journalist in Sri Lanka and very vocal about the government in the 1980s because he believed that they were committing a lot of human rights abuses in Sri Lanka. He knew he was being targeted by the government of the day, and because of that arranged to get a job with Reuters overseas. My mother told me the night before he was due to leave overseas, he was picked up by the secret police and his body was found the next day washed up on a beach. She then told me that his mother moved to London and became a really strong Amnesty International activist. And I had no idea what Amnesty International was or what it did, but I found out as a 12-year-old and it horrified me, not just finding out about what was happening in Sri Lanka, but all across the world in terms of human rights violations. And from there I went on to join school groups, the New Zealand board and then the international board, and essentially made it my career. So I've been a lawyer, I've been in policy and management, but every role I've held, whether it's been with the Auckland Refugee Council or Amnesty or Greenpeace or community law or the Children's Commission, has had a strong human rights thread in it. And that's very much how I see my role in the House. Whatever it is we're doing in the House, in my view, and I know in Ibrahim's too, is about bringing a human rights lens to our work. So you can be assured that you have that advocacy within the House. I do also want to acknowledge that the advocacy and the activism in this room, in my view, there's a trajectory to what we're doing in the refugee and asylum seeker space, and it has its roots in advocacy from people. I suspect many of you were involved in the campaign about doubling the quota. Yeah, we don't have Murdoch the spearhead here, but I felt that as a student and then as a young lawyer as well in my early days. And that activism is really the roots of policy change, so please don't stop doing that. But we've seen a continuation of that, in my view, with the Labour leadership. We saw a continuation when we responded to the Amnesty International report and asked for an inquiry into the imprisonment of asylum seekers. And we saw that when the government said that it accepted the findings of the Victoria Casey report as well. There's a quote I've always loved by T.S. Eliot when he talked about the still point in a turning world where past and future gather. And for me, over the last few years, as we've struggled to respond to the challenges of COVID, that's where we've been. We've been in this strange point where we've had to look squarely at where we've come from, who we are, what we want to prioritise and how we're going to move forward. And in the space of protecting people and valuing people, I think we've responded with our hearts. In terms of Afghanistan, we've looked at creative ways of how we can bring people in the most traumatic of circumstances to New Zealand, not using the refugee quota, but using critical purpose visas, creating these new things to respond in crisis. Minister Twyford has issued more than 100 visas to human rights defenders, women judges, women activists, LGBTQI activists, those people who are most at risk. And it's not a law, it's because we're responding with our hearts as well as with our heads. We've done the same in Ukraine, and I think that's something to be hugely proud of. But, and I think there are also huge challenges that stand ahead of us. I think one of the biggest things for me to get my head around is the fact that New Zealand is small. We're never going to be the Canada or the UK or the Australia. We're never going to take hundreds of thousands of people. And I've just been in Rwanda with Ibrahim, speaking to these countries who have these huge quotas. If that's not us, then what is the role that we fulfill next as we look to develop refugee and asylum seeker law, policy, response? I think it's a few things. There's a sense internationally that there is a retreat in trust in multilateral institutions. No one trusts the UN anymore because it doesn't respond. There's a sense that the 1948 UN Charter is an artefact, that it was built for a world that we're no longer in, that we have new challenges now. I believe in multilateralism. I believe very strongly in it. However, I do think there's a need to evolve the Refugee Convention and the way in which we respond to refugee and asylum seeker laws to respond to the real issues today. So what does that mean? It means looking at things like human rights defenders and how we ensure that they feel safe, how we give safe passage to those who are travelling between countries to access then a quota. It means looking at our own laws and ensuring that we have services that are fit for purpose for the diverse communities who are coming to Aotearoa. And I very closely read and reread the Asylum Seekers Trust report on ensuring that we're providing services to our asylum seeker community in line with the services that we're providing to our refugee community as well. So there is a lot to do. You all know that. But I do think that where we've come now is to a place where we've got a government who've demonstrated that we understand that. And I think we've now got a history of responding and working together to address need. So as we look to the future for us, hopefully for a next term, the big challenge for those of us in the House who are very focused on this area is how we can work together to make sure we're actively taking those next steps. So again, I don't know if we're doing questions and answers tonight, or if it's just me talking. But I will be here for the next half an hour until I need to run back into the House. But please do feel that you have us as your voice, and that you can be real with us, that we trust you to tell us when we're getting it wrong or when we haven't quite reached where we need to be as well. So I might be here briefly tonight, but I intend to be available, as Jax will know. Jax has my number, so but a pleasure to be with you all here tonight, and thank you very much for the work you all do. Kia ora tātou.
Okay, so in each of the annual reports, there is a list of the minutes from last year's meeting. I'm just going to give a brief summary of the financial year from July 2021 through to June 2022. But you can have a look through those minutes because we want to pass them after I've done that. Sorry, we jumped forward, so we were very aware of Vanushi's time. But thank you so much once again for taking that time out. So the last year was a bit of a wowzer, COVID in and outs and, you know, up and downs and promotions and educationals and events and all sorts of things. But as a team, ChangeMakers still managed to get a lot done alongside our communities and with the support from our board and volunteers. So the thing that was most special to me was getting to know our communities a lot better than I already did, with talking to you, hearing about your gaps and with the board and team ensuring we could fill those gaps. So a fantastic result of talking to you was World Refugee Day, which was one of my favourite days of the year. The communities asked that we not have a lot of talking during that day because they wanted to celebrate the culture and the creativity that they bring to New Zealand. So that's what we did. And we also had the photographic exhibition, which is aimed at changing the narrative to show refugees, former refugees, as people who contribute and participate in society. A lot of collaboration over the last 12 months. So on World Refugee Day, we worked alongside Wellington City Libraries with Red Cross and Sisters of Compassion. We managed to run a food, hygiene and safety course. And that's actually, we've got some of the ladies there that were on the course. 2 of them came in from Porirua, some from the Hut and Wellington, so right across the region. Wellington Zoo continues to offer tickets for families to visit the zoo, and Zealandia have come to the party to provide tickets for families as well. And this is really cool because what it does is it overcomes the barrier for many families of refugee background to access things like the zoo and Zealandia, which is just a very normal Kiwi thing to do. With sporting, Cricket Wellington and the Phoenix have played a big role and have increased the opportunities for our children to play sport and get involved. With Ignite Sport, constantly supporting our youth work that's carried out by Codrian, including putting a lot of activities together on Buddy Day. And we have also started some men's volleyball and looking at more volleyball going forward. Then working alongside New Zealand Police and the Afghan community, as was mentioned by Vanushi, we're connected with several services to provide the support needed for Afghan evacuees and gain the contract to settle Afghan evacuees with no family already living in New Zealand. Some of the people that we have settled in Wellington are judges, female judges, one of whom had been hiding in her home country for 2 years already, prior to her being able to leave. The advocacy role has grown hugely with it's now a part-time job, 20 hours a week, and it has led to a large education project which is looking at the systemic challenges in schools, and also has led to a research opportunity which we're just going through the details of now and hoping to get into very soon. There's continued to be a lot of one-to-one support. We've actually had over 365 incidences of supporting people to make connections this year. The driving programs, they were next. So they've continued, and surprisingly with COVID have managed to achieve targets, which is fantastic. So we're getting a lot more people driving, and we were donated a new car, which is absolutely amazing. The COVID response, seen all team members get involved at some point. Started off with Codrian leading it, things sped up a bit. So we then had another 2 people come in, one through funding we applied for and the other through MSD giving us another connector. So that was Lewis and Judah. And that's meant that we could still be able to carry on some youth events and activities via Codrian while we're still getting food delivered, which we've delivered to several hundred families, as you will see in the booklet. I'd like to introduce our team. As we've responded to the great and increased needs of our communities, or probably just the recognition of the needs that are there, they might not have grown, but we've noticed they're there, the team has increased in size. We had to apply for and receive additional funding to make that happen, and that has happened really well. So our team is now 13 people, and one cool thing is that it's now diverse. We have more than one male on the team. Can I just get my team to stand up? There's a couple of people missing, and I'll kind of point at you. So Denise is the star at the front who's waving, song star. Thank you for your mahi, Denise. Betty is behind him, so this is Bethlehem, who is admin and is going to be my PA very shortly. Over here we have Kate from one of the driving programs, and beside her Nadia, who actually works on both driving programs. Then we have Lewis skulking in the back. I'm sure he's hiding. Big wave, Lewis. Lewis is now our COVID guru. And beside him is Susan, who is our other driving program coordinator. Milan is away on maternity leave, so she's not here. Then we come across to Codrian, who's our community connector and youth advocate, standing there behaving himself. And behind him is Judah, who is our muso. He also has his own band, but he does a lot of work around employment, research, and community connection stuff. And he runs our events for us, so we're pretty lucky, really. Okay, who have I missed? We're going across here. I'm looking across. And we have Batul over there in the corner, standing very quietly, but I'm sure she's going to give us a big wave. And that's Batul, and beside her is Hafsa, who had joined us just this time last year. So thanks, guys. We don't have Rahila at the moment. She was unable to make it because she has a course tonight with Interpreting New Zealand. So I just wanted to say thank you to the team and introduce them all to you. And I want to thank you, our refugee background communities, for trusting us, for working with us, and also to our partners and funders. Partners we've got some of here, funders as well, to the board for their oversight, and to the team of volunteers and staff for your endless passion and your ongoing incredible mahi. This year is looking to be bigger, so keep an eye out. Pamphlets about activities going on at the moment, lots and lots going on, so just keep an eye on the Facebook page, the WhatsApp groups. If you're not following them, come on board. Okay, I'll jump straight into apologies. So we do have apologies from Ibrahim Omar, who can't make it because he's feeling a little unwell and might not have been allowed out of Parliament anyway because Vanushi was, so who knows. But along with that, obviously Grant Robertson, Priyanka Radhakrishna, Naisi Chan. Our good friend Nuruddin is actually being inaugurated to the council tonight, so he cannot be here, but he sends his best and his apologies. Zoe from City Library, Rahwa from the Tigray community, and Anna from Wakakutahi, who is one of our big funders. They sent their apologies. So the next thing is to actually just sign off those minutes, pass the minutes from the last meeting. Are they correct? Is there anything that needs changing or editing? Adam, you'd like to pass it? Okay, can anyone second that, please? The minutes. Maureen? Okay, wonderful, thank you. I'll invite Shahad up to present her report for the year.
Thanks, Jax. Thanks, Vanushi. I was going to thank you as you're walking out, but I guess now I'll be delivering the speech, so it's appreciated that you've made the time out. I've written down my speech on a piece of paper. I know I only have 10 minutes, so I'm going to stick to the time. Kia ora koutou, thank you so much for coming. I'm not going to go around and make the board introduce themselves. We've got some apologies, some overseas with family, urgent issues. Thank you. I actually started putting this together in August, so every time I'd remember something, I'd note it down. Don't worry, it's only 3 pages though, so. I generally can't sum up the amazing work we've done in my term of 3.5 years, so I won't be renewing. There's so much done in all levels, staff, board, on the organisation as a whole. When I first started off, Sandra gave me 1 minute, and she said, you introduced yourself in that 1 minute, and then I went through all the stuff. This time I can't. We've gone from a little cute team to now having an amazing group who do the amazing stuff you do in the behind the scenes, food, setting up, events that we always see on our WhatsApp messages.
And we're still cute.
And they're still cute. Each and every single one of them. It's been a year of adapting for both staff and board. I think both staff and board have also had COVID, so we've needed to get everything running while we're also dealing with our own sickness and family sickness. For those that don't know, my mum has multiple sclerosis, so I've been zooming in from some hospitals, and it's been lovely. Pretty much last year we ended off with COVID-19 events, vaccination events. This year was the same, but we've also branched outwards with new staff members. At our Leaders Council we had amazing work, people saying they loved what we're doing, they want to see more. I know Jude is around here doing his PhD. We also had some discussion on cross-cultural understanding and cross-cultural events, not just advertising events, but having more of those. Which is incredibly important, and I know ChangeMakers are doing and will continue to do, to understand one another as well before we go out and venture into the world. It's also been my own personal honour to attend some of those. One example is the Luo community dance, where they forced everyone up on stage and we had to dance, and obviously I can't dance, so I was just in the corner clapping, but I think we've got some Luo members here as well. It's a privilege. We've been really fortunate to have trust put in the organisation. Zealandia, Carter's Observatory, pools around Wellington, the zoo, Cricket Wellington, Staglands, and I believe that they pretty much see what we're doing as fundamental to their work. These are not just free tickets, they're trying to get us involved, trying to get us coming back, and bringing our families as well. And I think, like every other NGO, we also need the support. So we need to factor in and use that trust to the best of our advantage, and it's our work to also foster that. It's also no coincidence that at our board agenda, although we're making important decisions, we still have those principles at the top, focusing on our strengths. What are we all here to do? This is also what we need to do as a board and also as an organisation. The organisation doesn't land on one person or one board member or one chair. We're all change makers, and I think that's what that's what the organisations around Wellington see. That's why we get these free tickets. That's why they contact us. That's why Immigration New Zealand email change makers, and they see the everyday work that all the staff do. I also wanted to take a very important note here to thank our other volunteers that you don't see, the other board members that are not on stage, the other staff members as well, the driving instructors. I was talking to one of my high school friends and I told her I was this organisation in Wellington, ChangeMakers. She said, I know ChangeMakers. My mum volunteers with ChangeMakers. And getting our name out there is one of the things that community leaders wanted to see, so it was really special. Over the past 3 years, the 3-year strategy from when I first started covered supporting individuals and communities, ensuring their voices heard, allowing them to flourish, advocate, and lastly, building the sustainability of the organisation. The last of which was fundamental to our board. We brought in, it was already there, but we reintroduced the role of a paid secretary, who essentially was paid to join us at our meetings. We also introduced the idea that we have one template, one thing for the next board to use, one agenda, 1 minute outline. We were really lucky. We had 6 people that we contacted to shadow us. So that just pretty much meant that they came to a meeting, asked us questions. I had coffee with 2 of them and their mum. What does it mean to be a board member? Realistically, how many hours are you putting in, not just in January, but throughout the year? And the year after that, and the year after that, unless obviously you need to leave for family reasons, which we don't judge. And as a board, I think we've tried really hard to focus on pretty much what we're working with, what we inherited. You know, no pressure. I've got the founder of ChangeMakers here. I've got, a cornerstone, Maureen here, 15 years. Adam, I stopped counting, to be honest. But the whole job is essentially to focus on what we had and what isn't there. Where are the gaps? At one community leaders meeting, I think it was the last one, she said we need to focus on what does sustainability mean? How do we save this institutional knowledge so we don't keep having new board members and, as life happens. And like all other NGOs, we're working on it. We've also tried to streamline processes, have board catch-ups, and I think maybe the next board might want to look into this, is due to the volume that they're working on, maybe having more board meetings or dividing them. It's something we discussed, but didn't do due to life. We've been really lucky as a whole board, and governing is a natural process. You're given information, you need to make a decision. Either then, or in the next week, or your deadline is Friday, but this is all the information you have. And we're really lucky. You guys have put your faith in us when you voted us in. And it's also a decision we don't take lightly. Everyone keeps saying, I'm representing all the communities. I'm here, and my family know I'm here every month to represent all the community. I have a responsibility, and that's something I kept hearing as a board. That was one thing that brought us all together. We're here representing all the communities. And yeah, I think I'm pretty much going to end on a very, I guess, Islamic note. Please accept all my efforts. Accept, please, my wrongdoings. Forgive me. The hours put in, the calls, forcing my sister over there. I cook dinner, so forcing her to cook when I'm not there. I hope, to be honest, it continues. And I know I'm going to say this again, but new board members, you have my number. So I'll hit you up if you don't hit me up. So you know where to go. Thank you so much. Kia ora koutou, and have a lovely night. And I have some food as well. There's lots.
Thank you so much, Shahad, and yeah, thank you. And to the other board members that are here that will be stepping down because I've done their term. Yeah, well, we will be having dinner, I hope. Okay, next up is the founder of our organisation, Mr. Adam Awad, to give you the Treasurer's report with handing away. He's only got 10 minutes and he knows it.
I thought I have 2 hours. This is the house. I have a debate and discussion. But the thing is, first of all, I really wanted to thank you. All of you are here, came to the ChangeMakers AGM. This is your organization. You represented us, the communities. Without the community, we wouldn't exist at all. So thank you for coming to this meeting, and many meetings will come ahead as well. But also, I really wanted to thank all our staff. This organization, the machinery of this organization is our staff. With general manager, with many, 13, 14 of them. Without the staff, we wouldn't be exist at all. You are doing amazing job. Our communities, they really appreciate what you're doing for them. And they are bringing you so many issues so you can deal with it. Because this is the voice of all our communities. From Latin America, from Afghanistan, Myanmar, Africa, Middle East, you name it, from absolutely everywhere. So yeah, I really wanted to thank our board as well. The board that their time has finished, but we are here to support as well. Whenever you need a support, whenever you need any clarification, anything that you might need support for the previous boards, Shahad and me, and we're happy to support and we want to come out anytime, wherever you need support for it. And that's our board. But secondly, I wanted, before I go to the financial report, because our treasurer is in England, his father is sick, and he went to look after his father. So I will give you very snapshot of the current financial report of the year. But the other thing I really wanted to mention is that this organization is all about us, and without our funders who are giving us so much donation, and government departments, local government, all our funders, without those funders, we wouldn't do anything. We wouldn't do all what we do, really. Thank you so much for all our funders who are here, who are not here. Thank you all for your support. When you look at our current financial year of this year, I just wanted to give you a snapshot. What happened for the last 2-3 years, almost 3 years, since we had the COVID-19. ChangeMaker has been absolutely there to support our communities providing food parcels and supporting the family, isolated families, and support whatever they need from us. And that's where the organization really created so much work to be, and facilitated for many our staff to do that. So our financial, asset has been doubling when you compare with the last year. And really, when you look at the work that has been given, that donation and funding, we have been given to provide the services, and that's what we are doing, and we're doing very well. And the whole report is here for you. You can ask any question you need. I'm happy to answer any question. I said I don't need to go in detail one by one, because otherwise you will feel very bored to tell you all the numbers. So please feel free if you have any question, come and ask me, but that's the full report. Our budget has been doubling, our staff has been also doubling as well. We have more cards to provide more services, the social work, the research, the advocacy. I love Felicia when she said advocacy. This organization is basic for advocacy for our refugees, for the health, for the education, employment, housing, you name it. Absolutely. So the advocacy is the major part of ChangeMakers' existence. And I hope that the new board will have so much skills and knowledge, will lead after us and will do better than us. Because I always wanted to see that the new board to do better than us, really, because that's the way you can see the full, skills and knowledge and people are bringing on the board. So yeah, here's stuff. Please, if you have any question, you can ask me. I'm happy, very happy to answer any question.
He's a tall fella. Thanks, Adam. No doubt we'll still be seeing plenty of you, I'm sure. Okay, we're going to have a short... Now, apparently I'm a midget. We're going to have a short break now, during which time... I have to put up with this every day. During which time we will have our Luo dancers come and perform for us. Hello, ladies, I haven't seen you yet tonight. Followed by our Karenni girls also doing a dance. So just chat amongst yourselves, grab some more food. for entertaining us and trying to give us some much needed exercise. It's going to take me a while to get my breath back. In the meantime, rather than elections this year, we needed between 6 and 8 board member nominations. We got 6, which means we do not have to have voting this year. So instead of that, I'm going to introduce you to our new board members. It would actually be quite nice if the current board members could come up here that are staying on. So Madia, if you could just come up, Lana and Eob. Could you guys just come up so that people are aware of who our current staying board are?
The youngest and brightest.
So these guys joined the board a year ago, and they are staying on because they haven't finished their term yet, and they quite like being with us apparently. Some are leaving, but as you know, we wish them all the best. I think a couple are here tonight, and certainly not going to be the same going to board meetings without you, Shahad and Adam. Okay, in no particular order, I will welcome the new board members. You guys could go stand at the side, or run away. Run away, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Okay, so the first person is Megan Williams. She has had to put in an apology because her daughter was looking like she had appendicitis. Megan is one of the lead lawyers for Community Law Centre New Zealand, and she has done a lot of work in the space that we work in, with immigration in particular. And she put her hand up to be on the board, and a member of our community has nominated her. So welcome to Megan in absentia. Just because he's sitting closest to me and now holding a camera, I'd like to welcome Andres Ibrahim up onto the board. One of our new board members, he'll just come and introduce himself very briefly.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Andres. I'm from Somalia. I'm studying economics. I've been here for 5 years, so I'm very happy to be part of you guys. I hope I will learn a lot of things here, and I will share my experience. Yeah.
And next, just because she's sitting over here on the far edge, I'll introduce Ume Na.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ume.
Thank you, Jack. Kia ora, everybody. My name is Ume. So I am from Myanmar, but with a I'm currently one of the minorities in Myanmar. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. So I came to New Zealand in 2006 with my family. We came through the quota. I am happy to be here and very humbled to be selected as a board member. And so just a little bit background about me. As I said, I came to New Zealand as a former refugee with my family. I grew up in Porirua and still live in the same area since I came to New Zealand. So my occupation is I'm a registered nurse, but I love to be in this environment, in this kind of work we're giving back to the community. So I'm hoping that by being part of the board member, I'm able to improve my skills, as well as learn from other board members and Jack and everybody else. And I hope to have some type of input from my background, or how growing up in New Zealand as a former refugee, I know that there's barriers that we come across, especially in the health and the education. And I'm hoping to have to be an advocate for our former refugees. Yeah, and that's all about me. Thank you.
Thanks, Ume. And Ume comes to us. She's also the chair of the Karenni community, and she is a member of the Refugee Advisory Panel, which is a fairly new initiative. Okay. I think we'd better bring up Magursa and Dasa. Welcome.
Welcome.
Kia ora, everyone. My name is Magursa Randasa. I am from Ethiopia originally. I used to involve with the Roma community for, sorry, I think I'm a little bit taller. I used to involve in Roma community for some time, but unfortunately in the last 7-8 years I haven't been done anything else. Yeah, I'm here to participate and learn and of course make input. Also accounting graduate from Victoria University here in New Zealand. Yeah, this is me. That's it.
And we're eyeing up a new treasure. Watch this space. There's a couple of accounting graduates in amongst this lot. Okay, next, Margaret John. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself?
Oh,
Fabulous.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming, and thank you for people who organize organization to bring us together as a community. I'm so happy to come back again to the board member. And I'm so happy. Thank you for Jackie and for all the committee who they are here. I just thank you for you guys, because I stand here as a community. And also, I came from South Sudan, and I'm a community of a Luo community. This is why we are here. And I'm so happy to help the community. We need the community to be strong. We need the community to build everything to support another one. So that's why I'm here. And I'm so happy to help any community, not only Luo, any community of our refugees. I'm happy to help them. So that's why I'm here, and I'm so happy, and happy for everyone who stand here. So we need to be very strong, and we need to listening another one, and we need to do a lot of activities in the community. And we've been happy to live in New Zealand. So that's why I'm here. I come back again. So thank you very much. I know those who are sitting here, Adam and Maureen. So I know them, and I know, who's that?
Everyone knows Adam.
I know everybody.
15 years, Maureen, 15 years.
Thank you very much. We need to build our community to be high and to do with a lot of fun in the community. So thank you very much.
And I think with Margaret on board, fun may be the name of the game. Okay, last but not least, I'd like to welcome Melissa Densler. Welcome, Melissa.
Tēnei te mihi nui kia koutou katoa, ko hikurangi te maunga, ko ongaru te awa, ko tainu te waka, ko Ngati Mani o Poto, ko te rarua ngā iwi, te kaura te marae no taumata nui a hau, ko Melissa Densler toko ingoa, no reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora, my name's Melissa, and it's a real privilege to be part of ChangeMakers board. I've worked in senior leadership in education in the secondary sector for over 12 years, and currently I'm Deputy Principal at Wellington East Girls College, and I work really closely with our young people from refugee backgrounds and our new migrants. And I really want to come on board to support the kaupapa of ChangeMakers, and to, at a governance level, really work with you on the mahi you do, and supporting you and the hopes and aspirations you have for your young people, and hopefully give a governance and strategic lens around education and supporting your young people and the potential and the promise that they have in our community. So thank you so much.
far